And on today's episode of Tyler Rambles About Random Crap, I'm going to ask the question, do I need a new hobby? So I'm not ashamed to tell you that this winter has just been kicking my butt. I mean, seriously, I feel like I'm in an 80s coming-of-age high school movie, you know, and there's a nerd and there's a bully, and the nerd, you know, finally gets up enough courage to face down the bully, and the bully just laughs at him and punches him in the face and he falls on the ground, but the nerd's not going to give up. So he gets up, he struggles, he starts to stand for a second, and the bully's like, stay down, and he punches him, and all of his friends laugh. And the nerd just won't quit, so he stands up again, and the bully kicks him in the face, and just laughs and laughs and laughs. And I'm the nerd, and Winter's the bully. And it sucks, because then, you know, I go and talk to the principal, and I say, hey, there's this bully that's picking on me. And the principal's like, well, yeah, that may be true, but if it wasn't for that bully, the entire state of Utah would die a slow death of dehydration. And I'm like, yeah, but I really want to ride my motorcycle. And he's like, suck it up, nerd. So I go home crying to my mom, tell her how I'm being treated by this bully, and tell her what the principal said. And she says, well, the principal does have a point. And I'm like, whose side are you on? And she's like, suck it up, nerd. And before I continue with this riveting tale of woe, I just want to give a general disclaimer in case you're new to my channel. My moto vlogs are unscripted, unrehearsed, completely stream of consciousness. So the chances of this being cohesive and coming to a very, you know, profound head at the end are minimal at best. So if that's not your cup of tea, it won't hurt me if you skip this video. Anyway, so yeah, I've been struggling. Last winter was very dry, even for Utah, and so there weren't a lot of days that I couldn't ride at all. But this year, man, it's just been, especially the last month and a half or so, it's just one snowstorm after another, and it's kind of crushed my spirit a little bit some days. And so I've been thinking, do I need a new winter hobby? I mean, I just haven't found anything that is as fulfilling or fun or freeing as dual sport riding is for me. But in the winter time, you know, half of the duel is kind of off the table a lot of times. You know, and I do like just getting out, riding on the pavement. It's fun, but I'm just missing the freedom of being able to head off into the desert and ride for hours with no destination in mind, just exploring. Because when it's cold and I run into things like this where it's just like, okay, it's been warm enough today that the snow is melted and now it's just pure mud and icy puddles, and I know that I'd be falling down in that crap and getting back and having to wash my motorcycle in frigid temperatures. It's just not what I enjoy. So I turn around and keep riding on the boring pavement. And again, it's better than nothing. But I'm asking, I don't have the answer. Is there something that my fellow dual sporters do in the winter to capture that same spirit of adventure? I mean, if it was just a matter of filling up time, I do have other hobbies. You know, I like working on music. If you haven't seen my music channel, check it out. I'll put a link in the corner there. I like working on my motorcycles. I've done a crap ton of mods on my motorcycle sitting in my garage this winter. I even bought another motorcycle that I'll be able to tinker with, an old DR650 from 1994, if you haven't seen that video. And I'm learning tons of stuff from working on that old motorcycle. So that's entertaining, but it's not as freeing as getting out and just exploring the Wild West here. And I miss that, and I'm having withdrawals, and some of you may think, you live in Utah, why don't you take up skiing? And I have skied, and it's fun. It's just a totally different experience for me. I mean, the thing that I like about dual sporting so much is that I've got this bike in my garage that I can just hop on at any given moment, and in 5 minutes I can be in the desert riding, and there doesn't need to be planning. I don't need to buy a $150 lift ticket or whatever they are these days. I don't need to stand in line behind 30 other people who are waiting in line for the ski lift, all to go down the exact same planned trail that the ski resort has made for you to go down. I mean, it's just it's more like an amusement park for me, which it's fun. It raises the adrenaline level and all that kind of stuff, but it just doesn't capture the spirit of adventure. And so you may be asking, why not move to a warmer climate? Go to Florida, go to southern Texas. I don't know, there's probably lots of places that are really easy to ride year round. But I love the high desert. I love the mountains of Utah. I mean, my channel is literally called High Desert Hills. I can't have the high desert hills of southern Florida. High desert Everglades. So yeah, it is a quandary. Maybe I need to sign up for motorcycle trips at some distant location. I see these things that are like, take a trip through Mexico on one of our rented bikes, and it's a guided tour and all that, which granted would be awesome. I'm sure it'd be the experience of a lifetime. But it's a little bit difficult to get away from work. It's more expensive, and again, I kind of just lose a little bit of the adventure when it's this planned, hosted trip that you're going on, where there's not a lot of discovery involved, and it's just like, you see awesome things, and I'm sure it would be a blast, and I'll probably do stuff like that in the future, but it's not something that I can just do after work to blow off some steam. So tell me what you guys do. You guys who have 4 seasons, and maybe some of you throw studs on your tires and just keep on keeping on through the snow. I have done some snow and ice riding, but again, it's just not my thing. I end up horizontal more often than I'd like to, and I just can't kind of zone out and experience the freedom of the desert roads like I like. I've heard some people talk about snowshoeing. I think I've been snowshoeing once, maybe twice when I was a teenager. That could be cool. It would certainly keep me in shape in the wintertime. That would be a benefit. And there could be much more of that element of just going out and exploring without this cookie cutter path that everybody has to take. I could just go wander around the mountains. But I do worry about things like hypothermia, avalanches, I don't know, getting attacked by a polar bear in Utah. That's a very common thing. And there's some people who say get a snowmobile. It's the snow version of a motorcycle, but and I have been snowmobiling, and it is a blast, but again, it's more to me like an amusement park ride, where it's just, and maybe people do go on long treks, adventuring through the wilderness on snowmobiles, but the type that I've been exposed to, it's much more kind of closed course. Here's a good place to snowmobile, and you go zip around in an open area with some bumps and again, super entertaining, but it doesn't scratch that adventure itch. And you know, my wife has a Jeep. Maybe I should just start using that. Go exploring through the desert in a Jeep. It's definitely a little closer to that adventure itch that I'm trying to scratch. And so maybe that's it. Maybe I need to start Jeeping in the winter. But again, I don't have any deep insights today and answers to this conundrum. I'm not telling you what you should do to stay entertained in the wintertime if you're a dual sport rider. It's a plea for help, a cry in the wilderness for assistance. Help me be entertained. And yes, I know this is a first world problem. Poor middle-aged, middle-class man is bored in the wintertime and can't find something fun to do. But whatever. I do live in a first world place, so I think I'm allowed to have first world problems. And you know, I think there's something to be said for just suffering through it, doing the best you can, and then having that contrast come spring and summer. You know, I'm coming on the heels of this cold, snowy, hard to find a place to ride experience into a world that's wide open and warm. It makes that experience that much more exciting, that much more pleasurable. So I guess that's what I'll try and focus on. That muscling my way through this period of darkness will make the light that much brighter and more exciting. Anyway, as always, I do appreciate you sticking with me through my random rambling thoughts. Thanks for watching my videos. Subscribe to my channel if you feel like it, and ride safe.